Okay, so today we are going to look at farming tamed beasts and the basic understanding of who, what, when, where, and we already know why. Some builds just want a nice extra, haste aura. Some builds want to get, the invincibility aura. It's really great. Extra physical damage, hinder. There's a lot of really great auras that a tamed beast can give you. Now, we do have some builds that really benefit from tamed beast synergy. Druid companion builds, Huntress, the big old monkey build, right? So let's look today at farming the tame beast that we want and how to go about doing that. So let's jump into our first farm, which we just completed here, but we will go back, reset, and show you how to get, in my opinion, one of the best and easiest tame beast to farm. So this is the Brine Maiden. It has a low reservation of 33.3%, which is better than a lot of the other contemporary beasts out there. It's not the best, but it is really, really good. And you can get some obviously excellent modifiers on there. You always want to get a +1 from corruption if you can. So let's head back to town, reset, redo this, and show you how it can work. So what we're going to want to do is, if you're running a tame beast build like myself, turn off all of your tame beasts and make sure that you're not accidentally killing one of the beasts that you want to get. Then you want to get a vol orb, 5 socket, 20% max quality. Get some of these guys and vol these up and get yourself one of these. So this has +1 from corruption. This can be leveled up with a level 19 or 20. And what we're going to want to do is head over to somebody who can disenchant this, like so. Get your tame beast back. And now we have, our skill ready to go. Then we're going to come to Act 4, and we're going to go to the Singing Caverns. We're going to start a new instance here, and this will reset the mob that we just killed and allow us to farm up a new one. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run along the perimeter looking for the Egg Room. It's a checkpointed area that always spawns guaranteed rare Brine Maiden that has that low desirable spirit reservation of 33.3%, which is really, really great in comparison to some other ones. So we've got the checkpoint here. I'm going to swap this out so I have nothing that's going to kill it. And we've got this guy right here that we're going to reset the checkpoint just like so. And this will allow us to farm up our desired mods. So we've got a haste orb just like that. Super simple. We're going to go ahead and click it. It's got some extra fire damage. That's great. And now we have our haste aura Brine Maiden just like so. Now this can take some time. Obviously, this can take a while to get you whatever you want. Maybe you want extra crits. Maybe you want hinder. Maybe you want invincibility or whatever you want. This is a really easy, straightforward one to do. Now, obviously, we have the very popular and very, very good one over in the Infested Barrens of Act 3. So we go to Act 3 and we want Infested Barrens. All right, and this one obviously is really good, really simple. You just want to run around, look for the camp, and then there's going to be a Antlion Charger and a Dire Tusk Boar. This guy right here, as rares guaranteed spawns, both of them in the same location, ready to go to give you the mods that you want. Now, unfortunately, those guys have 39%, the Dire Tusk Boar Spirit Reservation, and I think a little bit over 40% for the Antlion. It's a little bit more expensive for Spirit Reservation wise, but if you need something right away, this is the best way to get it because you get two at the same time. I also want to touch on something very important as we're running around here. When we think about our companions, we have to consider the area of effect they have for their aura. It doesn't cover the entire screen. It's pretty limited. So if you've got a ranged minion like the Brine Maiden, you can see it's kind of hanging back because when it sees an enemy, it's going to, obviously immediately attack. We don't have a lot of control over how, our tamed beasts and companions move around. We've got a basic point and click and an automatic aggro behavior. So we've got an enemy here, or a couple enemies, and the Brine Maiden has ranged attacks, and they're going to stay back. So if you're up front, right, as a druid build with melee or, some other build, the ranged minions are going to stay in the back line. So is their aura. So if you have a melee minion, like a Dire Tusk board, they're going to come into the melee with you. They're going to be along for the ride in the fray, in the battle, rather than a ranged minion. So we need to think about, is it ranged or is it melee when we think about what tamed beast we want to get and how we kind of want to organize our auras, our tamed beast abilities. Because like I said, we can direct them around. You know, we can tell them, hey, don't attack that one over here. But unfortunately, we don't have much more control over them than that. And so if it's a ranged attack minion, it's going to have less of an intent to get into the fray because it can just attack something from range, and also if you get knocked down you can't control them, so that's another point of interest as well. But we're just going to run around here looking for this abandoned camp. Okay, here we go. Can you give us a hand, will you? Okay, so this is the abandoned camp. We got a couple chests and we got a couple of these guys here. Now you just saw the wolf kill the antlion. When we reset this checkpoint, what's going to happen is if you kill one of the rares, it won't respawn, right? So if you kill one, okay, it's not going to reset and be there at the next checkpoint. So that's something really to keep in mind as well. So again, we need the Tame Beast Gem. Pick this guy up. He's got a haste orb, great roll stuns, cool. You can get 2 or 3 mods. 3 can be captured on the gem. I think even up to 4. These guys aren't going to roll very high. So or with a lot of modifiers, right? They're only going to roll with 2. Or maybe 3. So how do you get 3 or 4 mods? Well, that becomes a little bit more difficult, but it is still consistently possible to get. So how do we do that? We're going to take a portal to home and we're going to show you how to get some higher mods, some better mods, and some better spirit reservation. This is the more difficult strategy, but it is possible to do. It's less consistent, but it is still, relatively viable. So how do we do this? The lowest spirit reservation in the game currently that can be tamed is 21%. Where do you get a 21% spirit reservation? Tameable beast. You get it from an essence. So essences spawn the monster basically in an invulnerable state. You need to break the essence in order to access the monster to tame it. A couple of the areas are in Act 2. We have Modon Quarry and we have Vestiria Outskirts. Vestiria Outskirts can spawn a Crag Leaper. And I say can because it's not a guaranteed spawn. Unlike the other 2 that I mentioned earlier in the video, the Brine Maiden, Dire Tusk Boar, and the Antlion Charger, those 3 mobs spawn in a consistent location at consistent intervals. They always generate every time you load in the area. They will always be there. This is not the case for the rest of this video. What's going to happen is we're going to go to the area, look for an essence. If we don't find the essence, we're going to have to reset the area. And if we do find an essence, we'll go from there. So Crag Leaper has reservation of 23.1%. That's pretty good, but it's not the best. The best is a Wisp, Swarm, Wasp. There's a couple variations across the game in various zones, but we'll go to the Modon Quarry to look for the Plague Swarm. So this has 21%. The reason you want as low reservation as possible is because you can equip more abilities and more skills, obviously, if you have more spirit available to you. So let's go to the Crag Leaper first and take a look at what Act 2 has to offer for us. So Vestiria Outskirts, it's very important that we have the waypoint available to us because the waypoint allows us to reset the instance. Instance is the area that we're playing in with all the mobs and the various extra content that is generated in this instance. It could be Asmiri Wisp, it could be an essence, it could be, all the bosses, all the monsters, the way that they've spawned in, all that. Is based on the instance. When we reset the instance, we reset all of that information so we can get an essence to generate and spawn in. So what we're going to do is we're going to run around here looking for an essence. Now, there is a couple checkpoints in this area that allows us to reset at that checkpoint and then run to the essence that generates in this area. So what that means is, just like the other, the farming spots, we're looking for a checkpoint. We're looking for an area that we can reset ourselves to, like this. Okay, so we have a checkpoint here. Perfect. Then what we're going to want to do is find an essence, right? And the better farming locations are going to be essences that spawn closer to that checkpoint, so we don't have to run this far. Now, keep in mind, if you see an Asmiri Spirit, that has a extra content, tag to it, right? That's on the same level as our essence. So if we see a spirit, we're not seeing an essence, right? So if you were looking for an essence and you see a spirit, that can mean that an essence hasn't spawned in this area. It doesn't guarantee it, but it makes it less likely. So there can be, 1 or 2 or 3 extra bits of content in here, like like an essence or a spirit. And if you see a spirit here, that makes it less likely that you're going to find an essence, right? So if you run around here and don't see an essence, you don't see anything of value that you're looking for, what you're going to want to do, right, when you've kind of, done the area, looked around a bit, and you haven't seen what you're after, you're gonna head to town or head to a checkpoint. So you're gonna either go to a place that you can reset it or get to a location where you can essentially restart the instance. And we're gonna go ahead and control and click and hit new. That'll allow us to generate a new instance. Now that we have a new instance, we have a completely new map. We have to rediscover everything, but that also means, hey, we have a new chance to get an essence, right? We have a new opportunity to find what we're looking for. So okay, so we have a Crag Leaper spawn in an essence. Excellent. Now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to find a checkpoint, hopefully nearby, and that will allow us to then run over and reset the essence. So it looks like we got a checkpoint here. That's pretty good for me. Let's respawn at the checkpoint. Now, as we saw, it wasn't a Crag Leaper, but it was an essence. So once we generate an instance that can generate an essence, it, on a reset of the checkpoint, will generate that essence, eventually, right? So what we want to do is run through here and get ourselves an essence that we can look at and see if we got the abilities that we're after. Could be a good aura, could be some damage, could be the temporal bubble. There's lots of really great modifiers that can be on. So we got a wisp there that can be on an essence for us to get. And the important thing is that it needs to be a beast. So we can't get undead or other stuff. So we got a wisp there. Just gonna make double extra sure. Okay, so there's the wisp, and here's the Crag Leaper. So our Crag Leaper came with a Hinder Aura. Great. So now that we have the Crag Leaper in the essence here, we're going to swap over to something that can kill it. And we're going to go ahead and, undo it. And there we go. Hit R, get your Crag Leaper, and there we are. We have a low Spirit Reservation. And that's just that. So let's go ahead and go to the final location of our farming interest. This is where we get the saving the best for last. The 21% Spirit Reservation is going to be on or in the Modern Quarry. Now, honorable mention to Kima, which is in the interlude. Kima is here. It's where you get the little pylon. And I do want to mention at this time, get as high movement speed as possible. It makes it a lot faster to go through. Kima is very good as well, but the Mod on Quarry, we are here, and we're just going to run through and do the exact same thing that we did. All right, okay, there it is, Plague Swarm. So, Mod on Quarry, 21%, roll the right one, and enjoy. All right, now for the honorable mention of Kima. Now, Kima, in my opinion, it's got a lot of competition. There's a lot of undead mods in Kima, but it is very simple. Unlike Vestiria Outskirts and Mod on Quarry, you are able to run out here, just like so, and run right back. If you don't find an essence, or one doesn't spawn, just reset the waypoint right here. You are not missing anything. I guarantee you there is a consistent amount of strong boxes here. But as you can see, the extra content can generate right out front. So just go ahead, run back, and reset until you find something that you're after. Now, in here, we can find a Hyena Demon or a Swarm Wasp that's 21%, or something that's 30%. The Hyena Demon's 30%. Now we're going to go ahead and reset the checkpoint. As you saw, the essence spawned right out front. You don't need to go any further. That is Kima for you. And Mod on Quarry, Vestiria Outskirts, there are other areas, but these are the preferred in my book. Infested Barrens, as well as for Act 4, City Caverns. So, good luck, and if you've got any other spawn locations, farming locations, Tame Beast ideas, comment, like, subscribe, and thanks.